My name is Aisha Ibrahim and this is Election Brief. We are live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. And all our social media handles are Joy News on TV. My personal handle is @Denana Aisha. Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. The Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, SIMA, and AICPA together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty, Chopbox Technologies, a convenient service, and Youth Bridge Foundation. Election Headquarters is for an informed electorate. Please to stay for details. Many thanks for sticking and staying with us. The Electoral Commission of Ghana says it will not allow the listed political parties to file candidates for the upcoming general elections. The Commission 2 years ago revoked the licenses of 17 political parties due to their failure to establish offices in all regions of the country as required by the Constitution. The parties included our United Progressive Party led by Kwesi Odai, popularly known as Odike, the United Front Party, the Democratic Freedom Party, the National Reform Party, and the Reform Patriotic Democrats. The others are the Democratic People's Party, the United Development System Party, Every Ghanaian Living Everywhere, Eagle, Yes People's Party, YPP, United Ghana Movement, UGM, New Vision Party, NVP, the Ghana Democratic Republican Party, GDRP, and the Ghana National Party, GNP. The Power Unity Party, People's Action Party, United Renaissance Party, and the United Love Party are also included. Well, the parties say that since then, they haven't been given the chance to come back into the political party fold. We'll hear from the EC shortly, but first I've been joined by Kwesi Busumburu. He's founder and leader of the People's Action Party, and for a conversation. Grateful for your time. Hello, Mr. Busumburu. Kindly unmute for me.
Yes, I could hear you loud and clear.
Great. So between 2022 and today, have you had the chance to meet the Electoral Commission's criteria?
Yes, I did. I met with Dr. Sriwo Kweku, who we had a long chat about our disqualification, and he said he knows being in the system, so I should keep, setting up all the offices, which I have done. Then I should come back to him. So we kind of working towards it, but we are not done yet.
So as we speak, you have offices in all 16 regions. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
All right. So we have less than 6 months to the elections. If the EC inspects and is convinced you have met the criteria, isn't it too late now for you?
No, it's never too late, in the sense that if you look at Britain here right now, their election is July 4th, and they only use 1 month to campaign. And with Ghana, it's like 3 years. No wonder they spend $100 million on campaign. It's ridiculous. If the United Kingdom can use 1 month to conduct election, right, and they're spending $33,000 a day, which is almost like 1 million for the Conservatives, and the Labour is spending 1.9 million. In Ghana, we spend 100 million, in excess of 120 million last election, MPP. No wonder the economy is collapsed. So 6 months to me is good enough. I've got to have the people to work steadfastly for us to get reissue the license.
Right. I'll have you hold because as nomination of candidates draw closer, the Director of Training at the Electoral Commission, Dr. Sribokwaku, has indicated that the nomination of candidates from the affected political parties will only be accepted if they file as independent candidates. He also reveals that no additional political parties have been added to the books of the EC since 2022. Listen.
After this, from this we'll go to the compilation of the special voting for the media, the security services and the commission. Then we'll do exhibition. Then nomination will follow in September. Then we'll prepare for the election.
Is there anything special about the nomination process? Anything changing?
Nothing has changed. That whoever wants to contest the presidential one will have to deposit 10,000. The presidential, that's 100,000. As was done in 2020. We are not changing anything.
What room do you have for political parties which licenses were revoked? Can they still present candidates?
No, you cannot present anybody in the name of the party because that party doesn't exist.
So the option is?
The option is that there are no parties by those names, 11 parties. They don't have any name. So it's like no party existing.
We've seen some new faces come on board, the New Force and also Movement for Change. Have these people registered with the EC? And if they feel their candidates, will you accept their nomination?
To the best of my knowledge, we have not certified any party since 2020. So that's one. But there are a lot of applications that are being processed. But for now, since 2020, we have not certified any political party.
Dr. Kweku, any message to Ghanaians who are watching us?
What I would tell them is that election is based on law. So everything that anybody wants to do should look at what the law is saying and apply the law. We shouldn't use our brute force to force people to do or not to do whatever the law is allowing. We should go with a procedure. If you have any challenge, there's a procedure that you can challenge or object to the person's inclusion or whatever. So let's respect the law and apply the law.
Mr. Absumbur, if you are still there, are you going to heed to this directive from the EC?
Look, I'm so glad that he mentioned the word law. This EC for the past 7 years has done nothing but go the other side of the law. Because to me, as far as I'm concerned, they never followed the law to the letter. Because one, while the Constitution talks about anybody 35 years of age can form a party, right? But they've gone out there with an ally, which is legal instrument, through Parliament, that they've used that ally to rig most elections by disqualifying smaller parties. Because if the Constitution, which supersedes the legal instrument, right? Why is it that they always come out with illegalities to disqualify smaller parties who spoke through to power? You know, to me, it's rigged. The whole system in Ghana is rigged. Look, Alan Martin will be disqualified. Seda will be disqualified because they will come out and say stupid things like, excuse my language, things like, you did not get enough endorsement. Meanwhile, I live in Ga East. My wife lives in Ga East. And they came out, the report they issued to me was, you didn't get two people to endorse you in Ga East. I mean, just listen to this. That's why I'm saying it's rigged. It's rigged. They can say whatever they want to say. You see, when they speak truth to power, and I said it, that we were bankrupt, they will all go down as the worst president and the worst finance minister, will go to IMF, everything is happening right now. And to have the cheek and the nerve to run as the flag bearer of MPP, the Bawumia should be in jail. In most countries, he will be in jail.
Right,
so
you have the intention to be part of this 2024 elections. The Electoral Commission says you have to come in as an independent candidate. Is that something that you will do?
Whichever way that will get me into this election, I'm going to do it. And at this time, I will make sure they will not use any illegality that the political elite have used to disqualify parties that can do better, 100 times better than these two parties.
What makes you think that you're better than the candidates for the two major political parties?
Oh, good question. You remember, November, I came on your station and spoke about we were bankrupt. We'll go to IMF, and another will go as the worst president in our history. And Ofriata will be the World Finance Minister. And guess what? The following day, I was disqualified. I was taken out of the election. And look at what is happening. I study politics, and I'm a political scientist, right? For the first time, we need somebody who studied politics to run Ghana, not some crazy lawyer who has no clue about how to run the economy.
So if I am an electorate, I should vote for you simply because you're a political scientist?
Because I have what it takes to turn things around.
Exactly what do you bring on the table?
The first thing I will do is that indemnity clause. I will make sure, even with this election, I'm going to campaign against it, that we should have a referendum. We don't need Parliament to form a Constitutional Review Committee. We should add it to the election that the people should vote whether we should keep it or take it out. I mean, that's why we can have one party come to office, right, and conduct the whole economy without any recall to the Ghanaian citizens. It's about time that indemnity, because everybody should be held responsible for the actions. Brazil, they've jailed 2 presidents back to back. South Korea, this was just to give opportunity to other people. They are both in jail. Why is it that we have a president and a vice president who has collapsed the whole economy, the port system, the school system, and they're going to get away with this? That's why we campaign to make sure we have a referendum about indemnity clause. It should be we should make sure we should repeal and replace it.
Well, I'm grateful for your time, Kwesi Busumbura, and I wish you all the best as you come into the 2024 elections. Let's get on to other stories, because presidential candidate, the NDC flag bearer, John Mahama, has promised to make provisions in the budget for the creative arts industry in his next government. The former president, in his interactions with players in the creative arts sector, expressed concern about the impoverished lives by creatives in the country, especially when they grow old. Mr. Mahama also promised to ensure the enforcement of copyright laws to protect the intellectual rights of entertainers.
Every quarter, I have to provide for some very indigent, creative actors of the past who even find it difficult to buy their medications and to put food on the table. We need to change that narrative so that people benefit from the work that they do. I know that sometimes you go to bed and at 4 a.m. some muse start talking, your muse starts talking, and some notes are coming in your head, and some acts in a film is coming into your head, some idea for a film, and then you have to wake up early in the morning at 4 a.m. and take a paper and start writing so that you won't wake up and forget what's happening, and then we will be sleeping. And the next day you're running to the studio to go and practice those notes or to do something. And the song comes, it's a hit, everybody is dancing to your music and everything. And yet, the proportionate wealth that should come into your pocket to ensure that you also live a good life is not coming. And so we're going to find those solutions together. In the past, we've tried to assist. The Ministry of Tourism, we assisted to provide some cars to some of you, because some of you really were using trotro and other things to go around. And so to protect your dignity, we asked the Ministry of Tourism to procure some cars and distribute to you. And it was just the first phase. And it was the first phase. We were going to do it in phases so that at least when you go, you can go somewhere in dignity instead of going to struggle in trotro with members of the public. Unfortunately, we left office and that program has not been continued. I also hear that some of the cars were seized back from you. And I think it's unfortunate. And like he said, I believe one of you who spoke talked about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah believed in the creative arts, and he actually put money into the creative arts. And I believe that government must put money into the creative arts. And that's why when I was vice president to Professor Mills, we made budgetary allocation of 1 million cedis. That was the first time. And it was supposed to go as seed money. And it went to Musica for capacity building and as seed money to set up their aging artist fund. And the intention was to continue to make some budgetary allocation to support the creative arts. Unfortunately, we left office and that all stopped. But I can assure you that we will make provision in the budget for the creative arts.
You heard the NDC flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama. Now, presidential candidate for the All People's Congress, Hassan Ayariga, is set to launch his campaign activities for the 2024 presidential elections and on June 13. There's also going to be a press conference where he's going to be addressing some national issues. Well, I've been joined in the studio by the APC presidential candidates for a conversation. Grateful for your time. Mr. Ayariga, it's been a while. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you, Aisha. How are you doing too?
I'm good, good, good.
You look good.
What should we expect? I mean, that press conference, you say we should expect a big press conference on Tuesday. What is it all about?
Really, you know, we've been faced with a lot of difficulties, and it's so unfortunate that many people are not talking about the situation we find ourselves in as a country. We've been faced with doomsday every day, faced with water crisis, the issue of the cedi against the major currencies that is becoming very, very problematic, and businesses are losing their values, and the cedi is even losing its value. So businessmen are becoming poorer by the day. Government is losing over $10 billion almost every year because of cedi depreciation. And many other challenges, the economy, the hardship. You know what is happening in the system. People cannot afford to buy foodstuff. People cannot feed their family 3 square meals. And we have the same government that has put the people in these difficulties running to become president. I don't think that this government has that locus or that power to tell Ghanaians to vote for them anymore. I mean, clearly, Ghana is in serious crisis. And these crises are increasing by the day. It's not just that they are managing it. It's not being managed. It's like, let's run for president. Let's spend more money on campaigning. So they spend more on campaign activities than building the country. And we cannot wait and suffer through these difficulties, and Ghanaians will be suffering too, and nobody is talking, nobody is saying anything. Everybody is mute.
You'll be launching your campaign activities on the 13th.
After the press conference, we're going to move to Tamale, and then from Tamale we'll move to Boku on the 13th of June, where we'll launch the campaign right from Boku, and then we'll come up. So 13th of June, we're going to be in Boku until 18th of June, where we'll do a lot of community engagement, visit some of the schools in the community and the other 6 community, constituencies in the region. Then we'll move up to the other part, the northern part, the Savannah, and then up to Volta, and then we'll come back to Ashanti, and then up to Accra, and then Western.
But what makes you think that you are so different from the 2 political parties out there, and the reason that the electorate should vote for you? For instance, let me ask you this. If we vote for you to become president, do you have a resolution for our cedi problem?
Yes. First of all, what makes me different is that you voted for the NDC and the MPP, yet we find ourselves in this serious crisis and mess. We don't want to recycle them. We have to move away from this mess to look for another person or party that can salvage us from this economic mess. The APC has policies, big and good policies. Our first policy is the mindset, change of mindset. Ghanaians need to begin to change their mindset towards their own country and how we manage our economy. We must change our mindset in order to embrace some of these new policies that the APC is bringing on board. And our attitude, we have to change our attitude. We have to begin to be patriotic and truthful to our nation and to our people. Then we come the economic lockdown. I am proposing the first policy of an economic lockdown, a national database, a development policy, a national development policy. People are getting confused when I talk about the economic lockdown. Why an economic lockdown? In the last 2-3 years, we locked down because of pandemic. And we could not sustain this country for 2-3 weeks. And we had to rush and come out of the lockdown because there was no food, no product, nothing to feed us. Now we have to lock down because we have to begin to build our own economy to become a production hub, a manufacturing hub, and an industrial hub. We're importing too much. That is where now we find the dollar higher than our city. We don't produce, we don't manufacture, we don't industrialize, and yet we keep buying on daily basis and importing minor things that Ghana can produce. Food. We spend over $1.2 billion importing rice every year. Can you imagine if we want to channel that amount of money into farming of rice? We spend about $750 million importing oil. Can you imagine if we want to channel that money in the production of oil? And we have so many things, so many natural resources that can give us oil: coconut, bean, granules, soya bean, shea butter. All these things can be used to produce oil, yet we import. I can go on and on. How much we spend on importing tomatoes? $700 million. How much we spend on importing frozen food stuff, chicken, fish. We have the sea, we have farms. We are unable to produce poultry feed to feed our. So we are practically a dependent nation that is not actually doing anything.
Recently, when government attempted to restrict the importation of some goods into the country, there was a huge fuss about it. What would you have done if you were in the shoes of government?
You need to put the structures and let the people know that, look, in order for us to be economically independent, we need to sacrifice. Engaging the people is the most important thing. Let them know your policy. Let them know that this is going to benefit the country and benefit everybody. You cannot just put a policy and people don't understand what you're talking. They will resist. And that is why we are talking about the mindset, the change of mindset, the change of attitude. Our policies is a cycle of revolutionary cycle that is going to touch base on everything. So we're going to have a national data system too. This national data system is going to give us the information of every Ghanaian, captured right from the child born today to the last old man standing. To have data, perfect data of everyone, in order for us to plan very well what we need to do, how many engineers we need to train in a year, and even the issue of graduate unemployment. All these things will be tackled when you have proper data giving you statistics of your people, how they live, what they need to do before you plan.
All right, so we wish you all the best on Tuesday and on the 13th when you launch your campaign activities. That's Hassan Ayariga. He's a leader of the All People's Congress, right?
Yes, APC.
All the best. Let's get on to other stories. We can now hear from you, the voter, on what will inform your vote come December 7.
Mahama was here already 24 hours a day, economy. Now, all purchase say, Saturday, or man with that. I praise for Omeaduma, a big quanopa, no more panado. Now, a bizu aquanado, no more panopa. Militia for fire service, soldiers, Ominas are over individual crowd, $1,000, or a beer night, a beer day. Then you order. And I may a member of Sokaha. And I mean Babaton, my dear, upon area. Now, may you swap a transwanado, and our purchase say. Sabkas flat and Yakwalabimu, Yanyakwala, and Obadada said, or Dada, bear a lot of acquire. Now, Casamo was say, new NDC ever. New NDC, I didn't know must have never go school. New idea, senior Yamanukakra. New idea at the Fufro, and I'm a boy. The new NDC, and the day, Mahama no idea master Davan, one idea. I said, look at you, Kwakuando, Samija Fu. Munyamu, Ulani Metia obey, what's up with you on right? I didn't know. Uber 2 for 3 weeks, no, but you man 4 years. I was Sano. What is our crowd was to look as for 4 years in a day? I can't, we are far count. Only 4 years if you mind. 84 years in our barn. Ober, that is Uber. What is what the car can say? God, you put a short memory. Yadusha. It will be that eti won kopa message from there na we ne de anya adwuma message we part oboa anya adwuma won pa message ne mu oda e beto aba ma no oyo ma ba meti ni won awbrase ma driver no eti driver no so kire na adwuma yie ba me promise say oba obey we masa obehwe ne driver no so pepepe ni nyina woni intro de ba me beka bia me to ne aboso ka AK bodio be wonder so say ba me obeye a che say ohun awbrase ma ne driver no na driver no so akire no etu obeye
me pese me kasafa Mahama ene baomia omo promise ya omo amane ho ni edi kan empanifo se ye be siwusu a enka ye hye wo ma Mahama wadi kan abetena wo man yi so ye nyina ye hu yi nia oman no efa mu na Mahama me de me famu de so bibi pa bi de ba ma oman no a enka esesen ko baaye no ya brantie na esesen ko oye bibi me frɛ ni show boy prekope na so emfie nan a obaaye no odi oman ne ko ahuhiahiam ema oman ni dia bobo edi atepe pa enyuma eye basa dum so me kura sabre na meni oman mu so meti din no dum so ampa me baaye na ekoso pepepe ema me beto ho generators be 4 eni gugu minimum na me de adwuma e ka bebre enti owo muwa bi de bebo oman no ana sa abre no wantimi amfa sa emoa na amoa oman no otena ho eye nhwehan ma sa ne me koso no onim se mpanifo aka to ho se opani a otena fie ema asafia efo no sa opani ni ye kana nkanwefo a oka ho bia na Nenei ose or the 24 hours economy eba. Mi bisa o misre bisa. Sa 24 hours economy na ode eba no. Mesre bisa se obae no anye bia companies dodo sen ena obi e ya enei ye be ye mu adwuma 24 hours yi a bi beko anopa na ebi nso akwawia apon yi. Me pa cho mimi so proprietor madwuma kitiwa ya mabia me ne me yere ne me ma eni egumu emu aketu anso yen no. Eno eni yedi be operate sa 24 hours economy na me pa cho omumra biem ana se Mahama omra biem no meyi ano ana o mekirekire mu yie ebia meme no me ye layman ntimenti ase yie minim se driver ni a ono wa eka ne car ana se businessman a wato ne taxi ama ne driver no ena sa taxi no edi be ye adwuma 24 hours na se o de ko ye adwuma sa 24 hours na driver foforo ben na nipa ben na ode kwakofa on
Infana. This is election brief. It's on your election headquarters. Election headquarters is for an informed electorate. For more news, log on to myjournline.com. You will get more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.